Hello and welcome to the New Year's edition of Conversations with an Investor. I hope you had a good new year and enjoyed yourself. And on that topic, let's discuss New Year's resolutions. For anyone that doesn't know what a New Year's resolution is, because it seems to be in certain places and not others, it's where you make a resolution for what you're going to do in the new coming year that will improve your life or something that you want to stick to. So it's the time of year that is pretty interesting if you sit back and observe what goes on with people around this time, and especially if they're setting New Year's resolutions for themselves, which is very, very popular. I was checking out some facts and figures for any studies that were done before we came on, and it appears that 97% of New Year's resolutions are destined to fail, and only 7 to 8% of people seriously set New Year's resolutions. So it's a hot topic, because what happens at this time of year, lots of people buy gym memberships, they join training programs, they're looking for some sort of action that they can take that's going to, promote their New Year's resolution to become nothing but an extreme success. So the question is, what really happens? Like, why do most of them fail? Well, I think why most of them fail is that when people go to write down that New Year's resolution, they are actually not prepared to change anything. I don't think they're committed to what they're planning to do. And what I mean by that is that they will set an intention of what they would like, and that's really where it remains. Because the reason most of the New Year's resolutions fail is that the people will pick the action or result that they want. They want to lose weight, want to get in better shape, want to be fitter, stronger, faster, run quicker, cycle round the loop faster, want to look a certain way. These types of things. Maybe they want to try something new. Maybe they want to take the leap into a business venture or something similar. So there's many great concepts of why a New Year's resolution would be good, but not many people will stick to them. And over this new year, and I'm not certainly preaching from high above. I've certainly fell into that trap myself, where I've set a big goal or a big intention for the year, and it's just slipped. And it made me think. I was thinking to myself, like, why does that happen? Because you see all these people that are going out and they're obviously clearly giving it some thought, and that they would like to get something out of themselves. And deep inside, they know that they've got more. They're probably caught up in the holiday spirit, and this is the chat that goes around. If you listen carefully, just enjoy yourself. It's time for family. It's time for festivities. It's time to relax. Just take the time off. Right? What that really means is people are getting drunk. People are eating way too much. They're eating garbage. They're not doing their exercises they would normally do. And they fall into this trap. And what happens is they're leading into this time progressively getting further and further and further away from their objective. So say, for instance, you wanted to get in better shape. And there's people that I know that are out there eating as many takeaways, going out for as many dinners, drinking as many pints as they possibly can get down themselves, because they know that they're starting anew. And it's like, can you see the ridiculousness of that? And that the key to having a successful result in anything is preparing yourself, right? Preparing yourself. So what might you want to do? You might want to start training as soon as possible. You might want to tidy up your diet as soon as possible. You might want to get the junk food out of the house. You might want to go and get more healthy foods in, so that you've got the ease of cooking them. You want the easy choice to be it's there, so that you might want to prepare for this new start, new me, my year, all this stuff. But what do people do? And I was observing this because I thought it'd be interesting to find out. As I'm building the coaching community, I'm paying attention in much more detail to these things to try and figure out what causes the great attrition rate, the great failure rate in New Year's resolutions. Because people are setting goals, and the whole purpose of when you set a goal is that you probably think you can do better. You can probably think that you're going to get a better result out of yourself. You know that you've got more in you, but you're not getting there. There's something missing in your formula. So I was watching the people at New Year, and I'm just listening to the language. Oh, I'll start. I'll start next year. We'll do it then. That's way far away. And what they're doing is they're drinking and eating to excess. They're getting stuck in. They're that, in that much of a food coma. They can't remember what day it is. How many people have you heard say that? It's the time between Christmas and New Year where you don't know what day it is. Right, the training's out the window. Anything that they did, if they went to the gym, that's out the window. If they're out training outside, that's out the window. It's too cold, and that sort of stuff. They're not got any structure to what their normal life is like. And yet, despite all this, they're coming up with a plan of how they're going to be even better as they're getting stuck into the Ferrero Rochers. And you look at it and you think this is actually quite interesting to observe. This is completely bananas, because if you were going to prepare for something, you would be taking as many steps to make it as easy as possible for you to get to the goal. And when you actually observe it, what it is people are actually getting as further and further away from their goal as possible, because they've got this, it's festive, it's time for the family. Well, I don't know how getting fat and eating to excess and blowing the calorie consumption off the chart and not doing any movement and forgetting what day it is being there for the family. I don't buy it. I don't buy it one bit. And again, listen, I'm not preaching here. I have done exactly the same thing. But when you start to get more out of yourself and you want more out of yourself, you start to see the fallacy of this whole thing. And we were at a conversation at the mother-in-law's, and my son, he's like, I'm going to go out and work out. And the automatic response was, what are you doing that for? It's a time to relax. It's a time to enjoy yourself. You can work out later. And my son, he's like, no, I want to get after it now. I want to stay hard, stay tough, and I want to keep consistent. I want to get up early, I want to get my workout done, and I want to be ready. And it was an interesting to see both sides of that. And I had a choice on New Year's Day, so we travelled to see the in-laws. Tradition, we would travel to go and see them, stay over, have dinner there, which is great. It's a great thing to do. And the weather conditions were not great. So I thought to myself, on New Year's Day, I'm going to cycle from my house to their house, because the easier option's taking the car. And it was cold, it was wet, it was windy. Right, on top of that, the shifter on one side wasn't functioning properly, so I couldn't get into my easier gears on my bike. Now, I knew this before I left, but I thought, well, I'll just go out and I'll deal with it, because look, I know that if push comes to shove, I'm going to take the harder choice, and I can get there. I can get there on these gears that I've got. Be tougher. It's not ideal, but I can do it. And these things are the psychological edge that you get when you're faced with a situation, especially at this time of year. You think of what people are running into at the minute, right? So they're off their, they've taken the foot off the gas. They're probably eating more food than they need. It's probably junk food. They're probably drinking alcohol. They probably can't remember what day it is, because they're just unplugged. They're relaxing, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the detriment when there's a point when it becomes excessive, and you think to yourself, well, it's an easy try